So if you have to step away, feel free to. But if you don't, please stay with us, especially if it's your first time. We want to make sure we answer all questions so that you are fully prepared for the Resource Systems program as we go throughout this process. All right, so at this time, we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone. My name is Sylvia Staples, and I have the pleasure of serving as the Resource Assistance Program Manager. It's been a pleasure to serve in this role. I've been in this position for, I guess, about a year and a half in a more permanent role, but I have been working with the Resource Assistance Program since 2017 when I started working in this program back in Region 8, where I served as a recruiter as well. So definitely not new to RAP. And again, excited to lead this program agency-wide. I couldn't do this program without my right hand, and now I have a left hand, and it seems like I'm continuing to get support. So we're excited as this program expands that my staff is also expanding, because it was just a mighty team of two that was, really managing this program. So we're excited that the team is expanding. And so with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Vanessa, and then she'll pass it to Michaela, and they'll introduce themselves, and we'll go ahead and get started with this presentation. Vanessa?
Thanks, Sylvia. Hi, all. I'm Lady Vanessa Reyes. My first name is Lady. My middle name is Vanessa. I like both of my names. You can choose either to refer to me. I am a program specialist for RAP, and I've been in this role for over 2 years, but I did start with the Forest Service as a resource assistant myself in 2019. And now I serve as, I guess, admin person for everything onboarding, orientation, and RA engagement. It's just been a really exciting time, especially that we had our first in-person orientation. So it's great to see the RAs in the past month. So we're excited for Cohort 7. And I'll pass it on to Mimi. You're on mute.
Hi, everyone. My name is Michaela Pryor. I was in Cohort 6, the last cohort in the spring, and now I'll be working with Sylvia and Lady for the upcoming cohort in the summer. I'm really happy to be with the Forest Services, and I'm looking forward to working with you all.
Awesome. Thank you both. So again, we are the RAP team, and again, we are going to have someone else that's going to be joining our staff as well. And so we're looking forward to introducing the remainder of our staff at a later date. But today, we wanted to take some time to just go ahead and have our first meeting with the mentors. We really wanted to have this a couple of weeks ago, but with orientation and everything, it was a lot going on. So here we are. The purpose of this meeting is to provide you guys with a very well in-depth RAP overview. We're going to talk a little bit about the background of the program, how we got to where we are, some of those changes, and where our priorities and objectives are within the Resource Assistance Program, and where we're going. I'm going to share a little bit of data that we have with the Resource Assistance Program, and then we're going to just prepare you guys for the next step, which is going to be the recruitment phase of this engagement. So again, today is going to be a RAP overview. We're going to talk about next steps and make sure you guys are fully prepared to create those PDs and be responsive to the partners when they send those emails out, and to answer any questions that you guys might have. The other thing that I would like to say is that we do have some RAP liaisons in each region, as well as research stations. And so I think that a couple of them might be on here. So if you are on here and you are a regional or region or a station liaison, if you could just let us know that you're here. Hi, Jesse.
Hey, Sylvia. Hi, guys. RAP liaison for Region 9. I'm part of the bi-regional recruitment team under David Torok. So nice being here.
Awesome. Thanks, Jesse, for joining us. Tina, hi.
Hi, Sylvia. I am I'm the RAP liaison for the Southern Research Station.
Thanks for joining us. Julie?
Hi, Julie Jandrew. I'm will be the RAP liaison for Region 2 during a temporary detail. So I'm happy to join you all, and I've worked with the program before.
Yes, you have. Thank you so much, Julie. So I believe that's all that we have right now, but we will share out with everyone who your liaison is for your region or station if you are not aware who they are, because you're going to definitely want to know them because they serve a very important role in this engagement. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And again, before I do that, I just again want to say welcome. Again, we have about 58 responses that say that you are an excited first-time mentor. So welcome to the Resource Assistance Program. And if you are a repeat, then welcome back. And hopefully you can share your experience and your RAP mentor expertise with those that are here for the very first time. So again, thank you so much for joining with us today. So with that, I'm going to now share my screen. All right, Vanessa, give me my cue.
You're good.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, so again, welcome to the Resource Assistance Program. The Resource Assistance Program is the leading workforce development program that we have in the agency. We have went through a bit of a transition, if you are familiar with the program, when we were housed under Recreation, RHBR. Now we are housed on the National Partnership Office, as well as the Workforce Development Partnership Service Hub. So again, we're excited to reintroduce the Resource Assistance Program under our new office there. Our NPO director is Gary Barrett, and our Workforce Development Partnership Service Hub director is Marlene Mazie. And this picture, before I move forward, is a picture of our cohort that just started about a week ago. We had our very first in-person orientation with about 80 plus RAs on site, with 100 or so of us in total that were on site for a week here in Georgia. And it was a very amazing week, and we are super excited about planning the next cohort orientation, which will be in Colorado in June for your RAs. But just wanted to show you guys their picture, and they were super excited. But yeah. So the Resource Assistance Program, by definition, the program is a rigorous and immersive paid experience for individuals interested in conservation, natural and cultural resources, environmental management, research and development, or other career opportunities. The Resource Assistance Program allows us to prioritize the engagement of current students, although we do like to really focus on recent grads, because it is a bit of a challenge when you have current students that are trying to juggle their school commitments as well as their RA-ship. This program allows us to really focus on those from minority serving institutions and underrepresented populations. To date, the Forest Service has engaged successfully over 1,100 resource assistants, and this program was established back in 2016 in the Forest Service. So we've been going for a while now, but steady making changes to make the program better each year. This program allows us to achieve or meet the Forest Service Equity Action item number 3, which is achieving a representative and inclusive and thriving workforce. The workforce development is central to our ability to develop a more diverse future workforce and improve the hiring outcomes, all while getting critical work done. So the Resource Assistance Program, again, is one of the leading programs in the agency that allows us to meet that target. So some of the objectives of this program. So again, we really like to be very strategic with the Resource Assistance Program. There's a number of programs in the agency that can be utilized to get work done, but this is not one of those programs. This program should be looked at as a workforce development emphasis, or, a succession planning tool, not a capacity building or capacity type program. We want to build the workforce capacity while also removing the barriers of success for minorities. So it's not to be confused with any of our other hiring initiatives, such as temp hiring or anything. We really want to be very intentional with this program to, as you can see in that first bullet, to attract and retain a diverse and inclusive workforce. Some of our participants that come into this program are very green, and so they really need you to be a champion as they develop themselves personally and even sometimes professionally, but also even sometimes personally. So we really ask that you be, not necessarily voluntold to be a mentor, but someone that signed up, you're ready to go, ready to pour into, develop, and mentor the resource assistants as they come into the program and then eventually become our colleagues. And that's what this program is all about. So talking about the benefits of the program, this program provides a stipend and a housing allowance. So if you can remember, when you submitted your position, you were able to select a cost scenario. So that cost scenario allowed you to select how much you would like to pay your RA per week. So the three options were 500, 650, or 750. So that is going to be the stipend that your RA will receive in their position. In addition to that weekly stipend, they will also receive a $1,000 housing allowance. And everyone receives that, whether they are working in person or working virtually. Everyone receives that $1,000 a month as a housing allowance. In addition to that, they all can opt in or opt out of healthcare. Healthcare is provided for all of the RAs, but again, if they already have their own healthcare insurance, then they are able to opt out of it. And we are able to reallocate those funds to support either their professional development or, additional time working on the agreement. But we'll work with you guys individually to figure out, again, if they opted in or out and what your options are for those additional funds. They also receive paid time off. We have 8-month RAs as well as 12-month RAs. If you have an 8-month RA, they will receive 7 days of PTO, as well as those that are 12-month RAs will receive 10 days of PTO. And this is in addition to any and all paid holidays that we receive as federal employees. They too receive those days off as well. They also will receive those early releases that we often get. So just make sure that you share that information with the RA if they, for some reason, miss that email that comes out about those early releases, and again, preparing for those federal holidays that they will have off as well. The training and travel allowance, each RA will receive $2,750 of training and travel allowance. These funds can be used for anything professional development. What I mean by professional development is if there's a conference or if there is a training that they would like to attend or sign up for, they're able to use that funding for that. So they can use it for their registration, for their flight, their hotel, any logistical costs. If they would like to sign up for a professional society and there's like a membership for a year, they can use that funding to support that. If there is a need for them to relocate, they can tap into those funds to provide assistance to them for their relocation to your site. Now, while I'm on this travel training allowance, I would also like to make mention that there is a difference between professional development travel and mission critical work. So if there is something that you want to get done and the RA is going to be working with maybe like a neighboring unit as an example, and it's going to require them to travel and maybe even stay overnight, then we're going to utilize our internal invitational travel option and not tap into their training travel fees. Because again, they only have $2,750. So we want to make sure that we're being very intentional and strategic in how we use their training travel fees and make sure that it's solely for their professional development. The networking and mentorship, that is with you. They are provided this benefit through you to also network within your staff area, within your force, within your region. So we ask that you make sure that you invite them to high-level meetings, introduce them to others within your network, especially if you don't have a position at the end to place them in. It's going to be very important that they network amongst professionals in the agency. Last but not least, the biggest benefit of them all is the hiring eligibility that they receive at the end of the program. So in completion of this program, each RE receives a direct hire authority as well as the non-competitive hiring eligibility. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but just really quickly, The direct hire authority will allow us to directly appoint one into a position, whether it's temp, term, or perm, without further competition. As long as they meet the OPM requirements for that series and that grade level, then we can appoint them into a position. The non-competitive hiring eligibility allows them to apply for our positions that we advertise on USA Jobs for special hiring authorities. So they're able to take that certificate and use that as a required document, and again, apply for positions on USA Jobs. So those are the two hiring authorities that they receive within the program once they complete it. So those are the benefits. Now, I wanted to make sure I cover that so that you understand this, so that we have the conversations with your applicants as they are applying, or even with your RA once they're selected, you too understand all of the benefits that they receive. So RAP 2.0, how did we get here? So again, as I stated early on, the program was established back in 2016. So back then we had regional agreements, we had forest level agreements with various partners engaging RAs, but there was no consistency, there was no accountability, our outcomes were not looking great. We were bringing folks in, getting work done, but we were not hiring them. And the goal is to use this program to, again, hire those RAs into the agency. So back in 2020, we reintroduced the Resource Assistant Program as RAP 2.0, the cohort model. This model allowed us to standardize the engagement by having the Washington office establish and manage the agreements. We provide national program guidance, and we monitor the standards, again, for that high quality outcome. So we have the two cohorts annually. We have a winter cohort, which typically starts end of January, first part of February. We have the summer cohort that usually starts in June, which is going to be your group. And those are the opportunities to bring the RAs in. They have 8 or 12-month terms. Again, if you are not new to RAP, then you may remember when we had the 6-month RAs. We had since changed the program and did away with the 6-month term, because it typically takes about 6 months or so, or 6.5, to complete the 960 minimum hours that one must complete in order to get the certificate. However, it takes about a minimum of 2 months to get through the hiring process. And so in order to get through the hiring process, we had to modify the agreements and add more funding so that we can then extend the RA. And so we decided to just start the engagement with the 8 months already built in, so that we would have that time to engage them as an RA, as well as get through that hiring process without having to modify the agreements and add additional funding. So that's the reason why we are now at the 8 and 12-month terms. Again, this model also allows us to, again, streamline the agreements, provide, the outreach support and recruitment, as well as provide the onboarding and orientation support. So with us bringing the agreements to the Washington office, our Washington office staff takes care of all onboarding. So you as a mentor, we've made your job easy, and you'll see that once I talk a little bit more about your role. So we take care of all the onboarding. So ordering the computers, setting up the Forest Service profiles, making sure that they are signed up to get their link passes. They come ready to go. I think someone's mic is not muted, so if you could make sure you mute your mics. Thank you. In addition to the onboarding, we also provide everyone, again, with that 1-week orientation, which I'll go into more details about orientation a little bit later. But again, all of this is because of the cohort model. And then last but not least, it promotes the peer-to-peer support. So they are able to come in the cohort model, know each other, lean on each other, support each other, and engaging with each other throughout their RA-ship, as well as, enter into Forest Service position as Forest Service employees. So it's been really amazing just to kind of see the outcomes since we introduced the cohort model. So who are our partners? These partners here are going to be our national and regional partners. Those that are at the top are the ones that the Washington office have agreements with. So you have Environment for the Americas, Hispanic Access Foundation, Green and Youth Foundation, Mobilize Green, as well as Manners. And our regional partners are at the bottom: NSEP, which is the Alaska Native Science and Engineering Program, Conservation Legacy, Great Basin Institute, Montana Conservation Corps, and Northwest Youth Corps. So depending on what region you're in, you may be more familiar with some of those regional partners and maybe not our national partners. Some of our regions have participated more so with their regional partners, but now we're seeing more of an engagement or more interest to come onto the national agreements. And so this may be your first time engaging with one of our national partners. But yeah, these are our amazing national partners, and these are the only RAP partners. So you guys may be familiar with some of our older RAP partners, but these are the ones that we have active agreements with managing the resource assistance program. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the roles and responsibilities so that everyone just clearly understands how this program works and what it takes to manage this. So when it comes to the roles and responsibilities, you'll see, we'll start with the Washington office. So again, we take care of all of the agreements, the onboarding, orientation, reporting, policy, all of those kind of behind the scene things that you won't even probably know about. We take care of all of that at the Washington office level. The RO or RSA liaisons, they play a very, very, very critical role in playing the middleman from the Washington office to you as a mentor or the host unit. They help us to approve those RA proposals when they're submitted, when they are sent in. They help us to coordinate funding, the networking. They provide a lot of support to the RAs while they're working by setting up monthly check-in calls, making sure leadership who knows who they are, helping with that hiring piece. They also issue their certificates. So once the RA has completed their requirements in the program, they hit those 960 hours as well as have a degree in hand, then they can be issued that certificate, and the RSA liaison is the one that takes care of that. You as a mentor or the host unit, you're responsible for providing that direct work for the RA. You're there to support the RA's, again, professional and personal development, complying with the program intent of checking in and being very intentional with the assignments and projects that you have the RA working on, and just confirming the successful completion of the program with the partner and through consultations and surveys with the partners as well. The partner, they are responsible for the outreach and recruitment, even though, as we all say, we're Forest Service employees, all of us are recruiters. So it's up to all of us to do our part in recruiting and assisting the partners. But it is a part of the agreement that the partners take care of the outreach and recruitment and managing those benefits that I talked about, so that housing allowance and those training travel fees, all of those things are administered through the partner. So when the time comes for you to sign your RA up for a conference or a training, you will submit that information to the partner, and then they will take care of all the logistics for that. And again, all of that goes directly through the partner. They also provide program support. You will see that a lot of times the partners will provide mentors and the RAs kind of a schedule, if you will, of different webinars or workshops that they are doing to do their part to help with that professional development. And they may even ask you as a mentor to come to some of those. So again, they provide program support as well. And then lastly, but not least, the partner is responsible for those reporting requirements. So reporting data to us so that we can see, the demographics and some of those other self-reported things, which I'll talk a little bit about when I start to share the data, which is coming up next. So I wanted to share a little bit of data so you guys, again, can see where we are or where we have been, and we can talk a little bit about where we're going. So when you're looking at it by region, station, or area, this shows the RAP participants of all time. And I would also like to say that this is FY22. It is up to date to FY22. We have not yet received all of the reports to do FY23 Q1. So this is where we were at the end of FY22. So as you can see, Region 5 has engaged the most RAs with 262 participants at the time of this reporting, as well as Region 8 with 199, Region 9 with 128, Region 3 with 131. But what I will say is that some of those other regions are now starting to engage more. So we're excited to see the uptick in the other regional requests. And again, we're excited that we are going to be able to utilize the resource assistance program to provide that diversity within the other regions, as well as research stations. So we didn't separate research station, but I will say that the engagement from research station is definitely on the up with the resource assistance program. This shows the partner engagement of all time. So as you can see, the majority of our RAs have been managed through Mobilize Green, which is one of our longest standing resource assistant partners, as well as Green Youth Foundation. Followed by, again, our two newest partners is going to be Environment for the Americas, as well as Manners, which stands for Minorities in Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Related Sciences. So they're on the up. We're excited to continue to increase the engagement with those new partners, and they're doing an amazing job with recruitment and engagement. So we're excited to bring them on, and we're looking forward to, again, the success that they have with the RAs. And again, as you can see, some of our other older partners that we did have agreements with when we first started the program, but has since then discontinued those agreements. This slide here shows the race all time. As you can see, most of our participants have self-identified as white or Caucasian, with that exact number being 516, followed by those that identified as Black or African American at 145, American Indian, Alaska Native at 53, Asian 52, Native Hawaiian 3, 2 or more 12, and 158 participants decided not to provide an answer at all. And again, I also want to make sure I point out that this is self-reported data reported to the partners and then provided to us. And as I mentioned too, before I go further, this program again allows us to directly target those underrepresented communities. And so, where we our numbers aren't really reflected in other areas, we definitely want to. So we want to again be very strategic with our recruitment efforts. Let's tap into those tribal communities, those African American communities with the HBCUs, the Hispanic serving institutions, and again, the Native Hawaiian. I know that we're going to do some strategic recruiting over in Hawaii. So again, let's tap into all of our networks so that we can tap into those underrepresented communities and get more engagement in the RAP program. This shows the focus areas of all time. As you can see, some of the positions that we have engaged RAs in the past, with most of them working in recreation type positions or natural resources, followed by lands and special uses, as well as the community outreach and partnerships, public affairs communications. But again, we've seen a transition. We're getting more law enforcement positions. We're getting more scientists type positions from research and development. So we are excited about the expansion of the focus areas that we have across the agency with the Resource Assistance Program. So we're almost done with data, but before we end, I want to share some hiring data, because again, that's what this is all about. And so this information here, as you can see, is from 2014 all the way up through 2022. And it does show the PLC, Public Land Corp data, as well as the Resource Assistance Program data for the non-competitive hiring actions, as well as those that were directly appointed. So as you can see, we did very well in FY22 when it comes to our hiring. And we're so excited about what we were able to do last year. But I'll say it was a long time coming, and we still have a long ways to go. It took a lot to get there, and there was a lot of things that happened in order for us to get to those numbers. But one of the things I would like to point out, just for your general knowledge, is 2018 is when that turning point happened in the RAP program. So in 2018, we received, as a part of the Farm Bill, the Direct Hire Authority. And in 2019, October to be exact, October 2019, we received, we had our first direct hire appointment with Ms. Booney Champa at the SAF conference in Region 8. And so we were excited about that. And since then, we've been on the up with the Direct Hire Authority. Just again, for your general knowledge, I'll share what some of those initial challenges were that we had. So one of the challenges was HR and hiring managers' lack of knowledge of the program, of the Resource Assistance Program, and how to engage an RA, and their lack of knowledge of the authority. We had no standard processes in place, no real strategy really with the program, other than, again, we're getting work done. So some of the solutions was, again, the DHA receiving that and the Farm Bill to provide those program outcomes. we had an e-tracker enhancement about a year ago where we now have in e-tracker a RAP DHA action. So when you are ready to process that RAP DHA, you do have an action. And in the past, we didn't have that. So all the regions were kind of doing Peace Corps options or reinstatement. We were all across the board. But again, now we have our own e-tracker action. Webinars for RAs, hiring managers, partners. There was a lot of webinars that I put on to educate the hiring managers of how to gather those supporting and required documents and how to submit this action, as well as the RAs, prepping them on how to develop a federal resume and how to understand the hiring process, getting those transcripts together, as well as our partners, helping them to understand how to strategically recruit. And again, that's also where you come in, and we'll talk about that PD, but it really starts with you and how you generate that PD to make sure that the partners successfully recruit the right candidate that will be qualified for your position, especially if it is a professional serious position. They're going to need that educational piece to qualify. So all of that kind of goes hand in hand, and that's the reason why it's so important to have these type of calls so that we can share this information so we can all work together and be very strategic and increase these number of hires. So I did want to share where we are currently. So this information was provided in January to show our first quarter hiring for FY 2023. So when I received this at the time, this is where we were. So we're excited that we are already hiring RAs with the direct hire authority as well as the non-competitive hiring authority. And again, we're excited to see where we are at the end of the fiscal year. We have been provided a target of 400 hires with the PLC and RAP program. So we'll see if we get there, but we are excited. And again, I think that as we work together, we will be able to hit those targets. So again, just wanted to share some data. So I'm going to just go through a few more slides and then, well, a little more, a few more slides, and then I'll open it up for questions. But how did you get here? How did you find yourself being a RAP mentor? So some of you got here by submitting the request yourself. So you've been knowing from the beginning that you're going to be a RAP mentor. Some of you were selected by your region or by your force to serve as a mentor. So when the request was submitted, you probably didn't even know, but now you know since receiving that email that you were selected as a mentor. So again, you guys got here for different ways, but we're all here for the same purpose. So a request was sent out and we had an intake form where the request was then submitted. And then we sent them back to the region to kind of validate that you were going to be a good mentor, right? That the forest or the research station that they're going to be working on is a good place for them to work. So we try to validate all of those things, again, to make sure that the resource assistance program is a good fit for what your needs are, because maybe it isn't. So we have that validation period, and we utilize the RSA liaisons to get through that validation. And then once they validated all of that, the funds were allocated or linked to our WPAPs, and we have been through the agreements process, still finishing up some of those agreements now. But again, I just kind of wanted to walk a little bit through that so you guys understood how you even got here in the first place. And again, if you maybe just found out that you was a RAP mentor, and hopefully you will learn more about the program in today's session. But I also encourage you to go back and talk to your RSA liaison as well, just to make sure that you truly understand what the goals and commitments are within your region, station, or area. So talking a little bit about the timeline. So there have been some adjustments to this timeline, but you guys will receive via email all of those new adjusted timelines, which I think we've already sent one out. But just to kind of walk through this process really quickly, again, the positions were submitted. They were validated and assigned to a partner by the Washington office. We linked those funds. We went through the agreements process. This did take us a little longer than we expected. And actually, we have one more agreement, which is with Mobilize Green, that is not yet executed. So if your position was with Mobilize Green, you probably haven't heard from them yet, but you will soon. So after that, we start the recruitment application period. So this is where we are now. Recruiting has started. You know, the partners really don't wait till you start responding to them and provide that PD. They start early recruiting. And then once they get your PD, then they do intentional recruiting, and the applications will be open for intake. After the application period, we'll have the onboarding again, which takes place with my staff. They take care of all the onboarding. Again, ordering those computers, ordering those Forest Service profiles, making sure they help the RAs get set up with their appointments to get link passes, all of that onboarding support we provide. And then last but not least, the summer cohort orientation, which will be held in Colorado this year. So if you are in Region 2 and you have some information about some amazing places that we could probably host, upwards of 200 people, please let me know, because we are now in the planning phase for the summer cohort, but it's looking like we're going to be in probably the Denver area or surrounding area of Denver for the summer cohort orientation. So with this, I just kind of wanted to show you guys what the PDs look like. So again, we are at the phase where you're going to be providing your partner the PDs for your position. One of the things I want to make sure I really touch on is that you're not going to provide them our official Forest Service PDs. Please do not send your partner the Forest Service PD. What we want you to do is really think about your exact position. What are you really going to have them doing? What projects, what programs are they going to be exposed to? That's what you provide in the responsibilities and the duties. Give them a great overview so that you can make sure that you recruit the right candidate, as well as get all the way down to the details of what demographics. So if you know that there's a tribal community in your region or near your forest that you guys have been trying to tap into, say that. Let the partners know that we are interested in tribal engagement. So we want to engage those that are from the local tribal community for our position. Again, if you know that your demographics are low within the Hispanic community or Native Hawaiian, tell the partner we want to recruit a Native Hawaiian. So again, just be very specific in what you're looking for, even with the degrees. If you're looking for communications, archaeology degree, if you're looking for someone with a civil engineering degree or specific skills such as GIS, Adobe, lay it all out for the partners again, so that they can strategically recruit the best candidate as well as the degree level. So all RAs must have a degree, and it can be a minimum of associate. So if you're okay with that person having an associate's degree, then tell the partner that. But if you want someone with a master's degree or even a bachelor's degree, then let them know that you are looking for someone with a bachelor's degree. But with that being said, I want to make sure that I point out that this is a program where we are targeting recent grads. So don't build it out too much that we totally miss the mark and we're not allowing those recent grads to have the opportunity at this professional development program. So again, be strategic in what you're looking for, but let's make sure that we allow that room and that flexibility to engage those that we would look at as green. So again, this is what the manners one will look like. You'll receive this from manners unless they made an update. This is the last one that I received. So you'll receive this from manners, you'll complete it and you'll send it back to them. And I'll show you guys one more. This is a look at the Greener Youth Foundation. This is what theirs looks like. So again, you will fill this out, you share this back with them, and then they'll get your job posted. So again, we have 5 national partners. All of your partners kind of have a different way of how they receive this information. So just whenever they reach out to you, just be prepared, be responsive. Go ahead and figure out what the duties are, qualifications, requirements, all of that stuff, have all that laid out again so that you can be responsive. And if you have any direct questions, again, contact your RSA liaison so that they can help you. So engagement with the RAs by the Washington office. Again, the Washington office provides a lot of support. Again, I talked about the onboarding, the orientation. At orientation, we go over Forest Service 101, Forest Service history, conflict management. This is who we are, financial literacy, Office of Tribal Relations, and so much more. They get a well in-depth orientation where we introduce them and give them exposure to different areas of the Forest Service, as well as CPR, first aid, and others. And so when they are done with orientation, they are excited, they're pumped, they're educated, and ready to start in their position with you the following week. The Washington office also provides a support group. So we have established Microsoft team groups by the cohort. So each cohort has its own group that Vanessa Reyes, again, who works with me, she manages those groups. So she has one per cohort. She has an all RA group as well as an RA alum group. And so again, your RA will have that opportunity to network and share information with their fellow cohort members, as well as get direct questions answered by my staff as well, just through Vanessa. We provide workshops. We do a session on USA jobs, federal resumes, hiring processes, hiring authorities. I truly try to make sure that the RA is prepared for that hiring piece. And so again, we do provide that for all RAs so that they do have that resume support and understand what it means to be directly appointed, or even understand what it means for them to actually apply through USA jobs. So a lot of support here for the RAs. In addition to that, we share with them outreach notices. We help them with placement in the collective hiring events, provide training opportunities, and just overall support. So again, a lot of you, especially since it's your first time, you're probably like, wow, I've never heard of a program in the agency like this. And because it's very unique. And again, we try to be very strategic with this program, provide high level support. So back to you as a mentor. With your engagement as a mentor, these are some things that we want you to be mindful of early on, and we will have another mentor meeting where we'll directly talk about IDPs and such, but we want you to start thinking about your work plan or your individual development plan and what that's going to look like, how soon or how often you will check in with your RA. So we want to make sure that we have full commitment from you as a mentor. And I know I keep throwing around the word mentor, so if you didn't know, because they're not considered employees, we cannot call you a supervisor. So we have to call you a mentor. So I just want to make sure that people understand that as it relates to the RAP program, mentor is a supervisor, supervisor is a mentor. But for the program, we're going to call you a mentor. So again, just make sure that you connect with your RSA liaison and partner for support. And just make sure that we're ready to provide a high quality work experience, because a lot of them, this will be their first exposure to the Forest Service, and you want to make sure that it's a good one. And those documents will be provided later. Again, I talked about the RAP hiring. This is a snapshot on the left of what the certificate looks like that they can receive, that they would then provide to you if you're going to be directly appointing them into a position, as well as that's what they will need when they are going to be applying through USA Jobs as one of their required documents. So again, they have the direct hire authority as well as the non-competitive hiring eligibility in which they apply through USA Jobs. This is a quick snapshot of what we have as again, another platform to help with the hiring piece. It's the RAP Connect portal. This platform was developed to allow the RAs to have a place to connect with hiring managers, again, when they are ready to be hired after they hit their hours. We'll talk more in depth about this later on in the engagement, but I just at least want to give you guys a heads up because you're going to start getting questions, and I want you to know what is all involved in this RAP program. But yeah, this is the RAP Connect portal. You as a Forest Service employee can create a profile and sign up as a hiring manager to see the RAs. So if you are looking for someone to hire in a position right now, temp, term, or perm, go ahead and check out the RAs that are currently on there ready to be hired. But your RA will have a profile when that time comes for them as well. And this is just a picture of some of our RAs and things that they've done. We had RAs working at the El Puerto in Puerto Rico. She actually found herself on the news channel giving a presentation when they reopened their visitor center. We've had RAs working at ski lifts, and we had RAs working in law enforcement, doing rescue, having rescue experiences or trainings for the first time. So we've had some amazing RA stories and RA experiences, and we hope that we are continuing to provide them that. So as new mentors, we are passing the torch to you to keep this program going, to provide a great and amazing experience for RAs coming into this program in the summer cohort. So with that, thank you for this opportunity to serve as your RAP program manager, and thank you for serving as a mentor. And again, we're excited to have you as a part of this program. Looking forward to see how we can best support you as a mentor in this program. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing, and we're going to take some questions. But hopefully I did such a good job that you guys don't have a whole lot of questions. But I guess we will see. All right, so we'll start with the hands raised. So if you do have a question, you can go ahead and use the hand raising function. I know Vanessa's probably been taking care of the chat box, but if there's anything in the chat box, Vanessa, that needs my attention, please let me know. But we'll go ahead and take those that have hands, and I'm just gonna go in the order that I see with Jason. Hi, Jason, you are a repeat. I know
Hi
who you
there.
are. Hi.
Nice to hear you again. Great PowerPoint and talk there. Gave me a lot of information to the questions I had. A couple of the things I wanted to ask about are really fringe questions probably. One is for recent graduates, how recent are you looking for? Because I'm thinking we are looking for some potential people who might be in a master's program or might have finished their coursework, but are still working on their thesis and haven't gotten that MA yet, but they might be a couple years out of their undergraduate at this point. Would they be candidates for this position?
Yeah, great question. So yes, so as it relates to what we call recent grad, it's not the same as your typical pathways recent grad. So it's not the 2 year. We actually don't really provide a baseline for the partners. We allow the partners because they do have their own missions that they have set up as well. So some of the partners will go out as to like 5 years as what they would call recent grad. It kind of varies by the partner, but I have seen some go out 5 years, some even 6 years. But as long as they are kind of within that, I would definitely say less than 10 for sure. But the most I've seen is probably 5 and 6.
Okay, thank you. And
Sure.
then one more question, if I could, since I've got the
Yeah.
line.
Uh-huh.
So we don't have the vacancies right now, but we're anticipating some vacancies, but at different levels for archaeologists. And they have different requirements for or PDs for those, and some of those. So we have ran into trouble with one of our past rep hires where we think she did a great job. She did not have a formal archaeological field school, but HR had a big problem with bringing her on at a certain level because she did not have that on her resume. And the purpose of the field school is to make sure that you have practical experience and it's not just an academic experience, that you have
Right.
field experience. So she had plenty of field experience before she was even hired working for a private contract firm, and it didn't stop her from doing the job. But I just wanted to make people aware that sometimes HR is a little bit sticklers for requirements being met in order to bring people on, and also to consider when you're writing your positions for the or the description of the positions that the duties are obviously going to be different for let's say the same type of position at the GS 7 or 9 or an 11, which
Right.
in our case might require the master's degree.
Right. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jason. And thank you for, making all of those points. And I encourage other mentors that are repeats. Any information or anything, any insight that you have for other mentors, drop it into the chat box. Share your experience so that they can be prepared to be the best mentor that they can be through your experiences. But he is exactly right. You want to make sure that whatever GS level equivalency of work you're going to have that RA to do, that's what you want to provide to the partner. So again, making sure that we are recruiting at the exact level that is equivalent to what you're going to have them doing and what you're going to potentially try to hire them into at the end of it. And start looking at that stuff early. Don't wait till the last minute when it's time to hire them to make sure that everything is in place. Start looking at that stuff early. But thank you so much, Jason, for that. So Christopher Stetson.
Hey, Sylvia, and thanks for the presentation. That did answer a lot of questions that I had.
Awesome.
The one I'm still need some clarification on is, so I have someone in the local area that's interested in the position that we have available. How do they apply for that? Do they apply through the partner? And how do I get that? Will the partner send me information on how to do that?
Yes. So what'll happen next is, like I said, the partners are going to reach out to you guys to say, hi, with the Green Youth Foundation or Mobilize Green, please fill out this form to allow us to develop your position description. They're going to get all those details from you. They're going to post a job, and then they're going to provide you as a mentor the link to your job. That's going to take any applicant directly to their job portal. So you'll have the link and you can share it through your networks. We're going to build recruitment flyers and share it with you guys so that you can share it so it can be active links that'll take them back to the job boards. but whatever position that you have and whatever partner your position was assigned to, that's where your position will be. So again, we have 5 different partners, and so there's going to be 5 different places that people can apply. So position with Mobilized Green, with Hispanic Access Foundation, so forth and so on. But you'll have your links to your position, and you can share that with any candidates. Well, with that being said, I'm also going to drop something in the chat too while I have everyone. I have a quick form that I would like for you guys to fill out. One of the things that and I'm glad you brought that up so I can make this point before I let you guys go. We've never had anywhere where we could house or show on one particular site all the positions that we have in the program for that recruitment cycle. Like I said, you would have to go to each partner's website. But for this next cohort, we're working on a story map. So in order for this story map to be successful, I need your information. So I know a lot of times from the time that you request a position to the time that you start meeting with partners, sometimes the mentor change, sometimes the location change, a lot of that changes. So with this form, I'm trying to collect current information so that we can work with the GIS team to create a story map so that applicants will be able to see where their positions are for the entire cohort and not just continue to go to each partner. So again, please fill that out so that we can create this story map and also be responsive to your partner.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next up, I have Lindsay, and then after Lindsay, I have Tina Terrell.
Hi, thank you. Yes, we had 5 positions on my forest for rep students, and I'm learning throughout this that some of the people that were signed up to be supervisors, they still haven't been informed of that. And they're actually, some of them are not actually supervisors, at least one of them. So I have a handful of questions here. One, is it required that you're a supervisor to be a mentor? Okay.
No, yeah. And also, just before you continue, just in case anyone missed out what she said, you don't have to be an official Forest Service supervisor in order to be a mentor in the RAP program. So just okay, go ahead.
Okay. And then a lot of the, I think at least 2 of the positions that were selected, we've since filled, so there is no space for those students to take that permanent position. So I don't know if we could still take those students or not.
So let's talk about that offline. I'm glad you brought that up. I do want to kind of go ahead and make a statement about that. If you submitted for an RA position and you've linked funds, we cannot and will not be able to reimburse you on those funds. So you can either move forward and still engage someone, and develop them and help them to get hired somewhere else, or you can defer it to the next cohort, or just work with your region and see if they want to change that position to something else that better meets the need in your region.
Okay, that was actually my next question. Is there flexibility to change it? Like, say we had a soil scientist, now we're going to change it to be a recreation specialist and change duty stations as well. There's that flexibility.
Yes, you can change that. Again, just make sure that the partner knows and make sure I know.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I think that hits my primary questions. Thank you very much.
Awesome. You're welcome. Thank you. Tina and then Jody. Tina, are you still with us?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Presentation. All right, couple things. One is GIS. All right, I'm getting 2 GIS specialists. They're going to do story maps. Are you guys building a story map that will soon put videos on it?
That will have videos?
Yeah. So that when we click on, okay, we will be. When we click on the location, we'll have one of these young resource assistants talking about their experience. So I'm just putting out there. So no, I am building it for us.
Oh,
so that's what I'm saying.
Awesome.
So when you get that map, make sure you identify that person who wants to speak. That's what I'm trying to say. Because I want to have these resource assistants who will lead into a position that we got a videographer who will go out and take their video. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
I'm building it for the whole agency, not just for you. Second, dealing with performance appraisals. The resource assistants come to us from the partner. What is the mechanism we provide information back to the partner about their resource assistant, since we don't do performance appraisals?
So it's through a report. So the partners have like a survey or report that you fill out as a mentor. Again, we have the quarterly check-ins, and so we check in with the mentors on the Washington office side or the Forest Service side, but also the different partners kind of have their own process in how they check in with the mentors as well. midway through the program as well as at the end of the program. So each partner has a program manager that works closely with the mentor. So all of that information will be shared at a later date. Right now, we just kind of wanted this meeting to focus on getting folks prepped for the recruitment process. But yeah, we'll make sure that you know who your partner is and kind of what those check-in dates and times will be and mechanisms. Yeah.
Appreciate that. And the last one is dealing with the partner. Is some things are people still saying looking for information. So I would like for us to think about how we also provide feedback to the partner about our experience in this partnership. Not of, oh, we don't want it. It's more of this that continuous feedback group. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks. Jody?
Aloha, good morning. I have two questions. Hi, Sylvia. The first one has to do with the certificate that is received upon completion of RAP. Does that certificate only work for the Forest Service?
Yes.
Or does that certificate allow us under the Farm Bill to use the whole USDA family?
So right now for the direct hire authority piece, it works for the Forest Service. I have been told that some agencies have received it or taken it through USA Job, like the non-competitive way. So if they apply through USA Jobs. However, I have not received anything officially that has said that, you know, this has been approved by USDA for us to be able to receive other partner or other agency certificates or for them to receive ours. So I haven't seen anything officially, but I do know that it has happened in the past.
So does that happen just at a local level? I mean, how does it happen if it's not officially?
It's not, like I said, it's just kind of one of those things, just like, you know, even with our internal process, you apply for a job and one HR staffer might, you know, qualify you and another HR staffer may not. So sometimes it's just kind of by luck or by chance, but it hasn't been a continuous thing. So that's the reason why I can't officially say that, yes, it is a thing, because it hasn't officially come out that they really do accept our certificates, but I know it's something that we're working on. So until we get that official guidance that it's approved, it's in place, and I have something that I can share with folks, then as of right now, I don't have anything that I can share physically. So once that we do get that approval, then we'll be sure to, you know, let everyone know. But that's kind of where we are right now.
Yes,
Okay.
I'll jump on that one, Jody. So yes, I am working with Merlene and others. We're working on it. So that way the agency will accept resource assistance certificates and public land court certificates from our sister agencies. We're not there yet. So that's why Sylvia is saying it's a one-off. Sometimes an HR person will do it, but we are diligently working on trying to get that approved, and then we do the directive. So I talked to Merlene about that yesterday. So
Thank you. I think that would be huge, right? That's a even bigger pool
Right.
of potential jobs. So
Yeah.
my second question also has to do with the partners. And I noticed that you had regional partners, Sylvia, on the list. Is there, what do we do if we want to expand the thought process on regional partners? Do I work with you? And is there a process that you go through? I'm just thinking, you know, in order to better serve the Pacific, the idea of having a regional partner that is based out in the Pacific area may be helpful in increasing
Yeah.
that
So are you talking
participation
about
number.
the partners that I showed or maybe having new partners?
A new partner.
Yeah, we're not there right now. We kind of go through a process or RFI for new partners, and right now we're not engaging new requests from any new partners. So we have the 10 partners total, the 5 national and 5 regional. And so that's kind of who we're using until that next RFI comes back around.
When does the RFI show up? Is it on a set time or is it
It's
based
not,
on?
like I said, we've made some changes with the program with transition and new staff areas. So we kind of haven't gotten to that point yet.
So if I could make the plug for a regional partner located closer to the Pacific, I think if you're trying to talk to Pacific Island folks and engage them, it always works a lot better if they can see a closer link to the
Right.
partner that they're speaking to. So that's my shameless plug
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
consideration.
And as you
Thanks,
know, I've been
Sylvia.
in meetings with you and we've been talking about that. So we'll continue to
Yeah.
talk more about that outside of this. But yeah, we won't forget about you guys. We know that there's interest there.
Yeah, we'd love to increase our numbers and our participation. I just think there's a system build that would help to do that. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Jody. I see one last hand, Deb. And before you go, Deb, I know some of you may have to hop off. So what I will say is there's going to be a link that's going to be shared with you guys as mentors, so that you're going to have a opinion folder with all mentor resources. So Vanessa will share that out. We'll send out an email with the recording and the link to the opinion folder, so that you have all mentor resources in one place. So we just kind of want to make that plug. Go for it, Vanessa.
Or did you want me to go?
Deb.
Oh, I'm sorry, Vanessa. Deb. Sorry, I saw her face.
It's okay. It's okay. I just wanted to loop back around to Jason's question and kind of underscore Sylvia, your response. And I don't know how many of you on the phone have been identified as mentors who will be actually overseeing the daily work of and making the decisions on what work the intern will be doing. And what we've seen is a disconnect between the work that an intern is doing and the jobs that they are trying to convert into. And that, I think, is partly because, they're learning, they're growing, they may change what they're interested in. And I really think that the mentor really needs to make sure that alignment between what they want to be when they grow up, what they want, what they're looking for, and what we're expecting and what HR is expecting is something we're keeping track of all along the way. Because I know we had some RAs, right, Sylvia, that there was a disconnect, and you just can't help but think that the reason for that is that we just weren't paying attention the way we needed to be, not trying to point fingers. And that just has stuck with me. So that's something that, is on my mind, and recognizing that, we want these folks to stay with us, right? They're great resources. And so it really doesn't matter at the end of the day if Jason, you're looking for someone in, I forget what it was, what you said, even if you said, let's say you're looking for somebody in recreation and you don't have a job, but maybe somebody else has a job, and maybe the person actually is now really interested and qualified for something else, right? So we need to also work together on that. So I just wanted to put that plug in, Sylvia, that I think that we could do a way better job on that front as an agency. Again, not pointing any fingers. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dale, for that comment. All right, so I don't think I have any more hands raised. It looks like Vanessa has been tackling the chat box here. I will go through it to make sure there's nothing that I missed. Vanessa, if there's something that you think I need to address right now before I dismiss, then let me know. But if not, then I will kind of take some time to address some more of these questions. But one thing that I will say that just popped out to me, Lindsay Gauss, you kind of made a comment in there about, well, a question, will the mentees have the minimum OPM series? So one thing we have to remember that the partners do not work for the government. They don't understand series and OPM requirements. So they are going to recruit the candidate based off of what you give them. But also, we're also not asking the partners to be HR staffers to go through a transcript either. So we're not going to go to that level of detail to say a hydrologist needs X amount of credits in this particular area. You're going to have to try to keep it as base as possible and just say that, this person needs to have a hydrologist, a bachelor's degree with a major of hydrology, and in hope that we can maybe, get that they're going to have that requirement. But the partners do not have the capacity to kind of go through transcripts and see or even understand how HR qualifies them. So I just kind of wanted to make that quick point, just so that that's kind of understood as you share with the partners what you're looking for. Just try to keep it at hydrologists, archaeologists, or whatever those focuses are, or like what Jason said, that they need field school, but something simple along those lines. But just wanted to make that point. And it looks like we have one more hand from John, and then after John's hand, we're going to go ahead and, well, I'll stay on if people need me to, but I want to be respectful of your time. So, John, go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Sorry about that.
No problem.
In the best spot here. Kind of on the point of the whole qualifications and, really wanting to be mindful of, bringing someone on with the expectation they're going to fill a position and then trying to avoid, the potential pitfall of having HR say at the end of all this, no, they actually don't qualify for that position. Is there any way that the Washington office, like, do you have a liaison in HR, or, is that something that you could explore to kind of work with mentors as we're putting together the PDs, or, quote unquote PDs for the partners, to say, yeah, if like this would match, right? Essentially to kind of do all the crosswalking, because just as you said, the partners aren't Forest Service employees. They're not HR staffers. I'm not an HR staffer either, even though I'm a Forest Service employee.
Yeah, and to answer your question, no, we don't have that HR level of support to walk you through the recruitment for these positions. So again, just try to be as specific as possible as you can. You know what I mean? So again, if your position is engineering and you know that it's going to take a professional engineering degree, then tell them that this person needs a civil engineering degree. Or if it's going to be a position that doesn't really have a positive education requirements, then say that you can take a natural resources degree, environmental science degree, anything that's, kind of within that natural resources realm. So just try to get as close as possible. We totally understand that sometimes we'll still miss the mark, and that's okay. But we want you to try to be as strategic and as close as possible. So no, we don't have HR support or the capacity right now to help you in this phase. So we ask that you just try to get as close as possible as you can by knowing or looking at it yourself to say this person needs this type of degree. Yeah, sorry. I hope that helps, John.
And I just
Yes, thank you.
if I
You're welcome.
on John's point, yeah, I guess as long as the partners also understand, I'm not sure how many different series out there have those little nuances, but several people I graduated with as hydrologists do not qualify to be a hydrologist in the Forest Service. So just be cognizant that some of those positions they will not qualify without some of those, obscure credits.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
and the agency has made a commitment to hire all RAs. So once the RAs are selected and we know what type of degree they have and what their interests are, and what positions that they will be qualified for, we'll work through that and try to get them placed, whether it's on your unit in your position that you are training and developing them in, or if it's going to be another position. But again, we will all work together and do what we can, but we will miss the mark a little bit here and there, but we'll adjust when we do miss the mark and still try and get them placed somewhere in the agency. But yes, all valid points. And it looks like Vanessa has dropped something into the chat so you guys can see who your RSA liaison is. So again, I have a small staff, so if you send us an email, it may take a little time for us to respond back to you. So if you do want someone that can help you directly within your region, station, or area, then do reach out to your liaison. But we are also here to support you. So again, if you were mobilized Green, you probably have not heard back from them yet, because we just received their agreements from GNA today. So we'll be processing that and getting that executed. But just be prepared and be ready to be responsive to the partner when they do reach out to you. So with that, like I said, we'll send out an email with some recruitment materials. Make sure that you respond to the survey so that we know exactly what city and state your position is and exactly what zip code, because the story map needs that. And just, again, be responsive to us as we work together to make sure that we have everything we need to get through this recruitment process. And there will be other calls. So this call was just to, again, provide the overview and set you guys up for success for the recruitment cycle. But we will have another follow-up mentor call as we get into the engagement piece and really talk about that more in particular, as well as onboarding. Vanessa, did you have a comment or a question?
Yeah, sorry, Sylvia. Just a couple of questions that weren't quite addressed, and I think they're a bit more nuanced, but I'll just mention. So, may the training travel allowance be used as an initial incentive to relocate to their primary duty location?
Yes.
Okay, great. And can RAs be on a maxi-flex schedule and can they accrue credit hours?
No. They RAs are not employees. They are working with us through an agreement. So we want to keep them on a 40-hour per week schedule.
Awesome, thank you. I think you already addressed the questions regarding partners and position descriptions. So great, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, so again, we're past the hour and I do want to be respectful to your time. Oh, one more question. Jason, go for it.
I know this cohort is already set up, but this is just for future cohorts. Did I remember you at one time mentioning the possibility of doing a part-time wrap where it's for a longer period, but only at 20 hours a week or something like that, that would fit more with a graduate student assistantship?
No,
type
we
of
don't,
format?
we don't really put that out, but if, and it's not something that we encourage for the entirety of the program. There are some times where an RA is selected and they are maybe at the end of their program, so that maybe they have another month or a couple months to finish their program, so they want to start in a part-time phase, but then with the intent that they eventually change over to a full-time position. But we don't really engage RAs, initially at the part-time schedule. We really try to focus on full-time RAs, but again, we will work with you if you do engage or hire an RA that is still in school. We will work with you on a part-time schedule, but the goal is not to have someone as a part-time aide for the entire time.
Thank you.
Welcome. All right, so again, I hope this has been very helpful and informative for you guys. Vanessa, again, share who your RAP liaison is. Reach out to them if you have any further questions. We'll be sending out a follow-up email with more resources. You're going to have a link that's going to take you to a opinion folder with mentor resources. You'll be connected with the partners, and so you have that support there as well. But whatever we can do to continue to support you, please let us know. And we'll probably have this one chat, or we'll continue to be kind of the place that we do for future meetings and future chat. So if you got any questions or any previous mentors, again, got any insight or anything that you want to share with new mentors, please share it. Please help us. We'll all help each other. And again, thank you guys so much for serving as a RAP mentor, and we look forward to engaging with you further. Take care.